always really emotionally driven with me. When I've made an image, I can look at it and I can see to me whether it is a feeling of desperation, which I wanted, or if it's like lust, or if it's power. Well, I trained as a dancer from when I was 8 years old and did ballet and tap and modern, and I worked my arse off when I was a kid to be trained properly. And then the first music video I did, it's kind of, can you put on these shorts? Can you stand over here? Can you look cute? Can you like rub up this rapper's leg? I remember thinking, 10 years of training, like, for this, it just felt like a bit much. And so when I work with dancers, I always try and make them feel very cared about. I have no interest in moving image. I have no interest in photography. Like, it doesn't really do anything for me. It's very rare that I see even a film that moves me. For me, it's more about creating feelings. I know when I feel something and I know when I don't. And that's always my drive. Is this honest? Does this really speak to me? You know, is this person looking sad, or are they actually sad? If I look at myself as a director, I like takes that feel really natural, or maybe the take when the dancer forgot that they were dancing for a second, because you've been doing it for so long that they're just like moving and not even thinking anymore. And also as well, like, I have such kind of left field ideas. I feel quite precious about giving them away to somebody, because how they would interpret it wouldn't be how I would see it in my head necessarily. So then I just thought, well, I might as well do it myself, and then it started working out for me. So that's kind of how it's happened with me directing the majority of my own stuff. I want to make something and have it portrayed exactly how I want, rather than, I've spoken before about the man's eye view that you get in a camera, that you can want something to be portrayed in one way, and then with a man's eye view, or with like an eye that's not in touch emotionally with what you're trying to say, a video could come out completely differently just because of the camera angle. Like, my aim and pendulum, for me, it was really about textures. I really wanted to have the contrast between the skin and the hair and the rope bands, and the way that the light's hitting the face and the contours on face and shadows and angles are really interesting. And we had to work together a lot to get that, because I think in the beginning it was a lot of thigh and a lot of butt and, you know, that sort of thing. And it was difficult because I was like tied up and I was like, less boobs. But you can only be tied up for 7 minutes at a time. So it's really annoying, because like, you know, you want to do it, and then if you lose circulation in your arm for too much, then you can have like a numb arm for 6 months. So I was just trying to get the balance between like being dedicated and getting the shot and not losing sensation in my arm. So that was fun. My mum just let me do whatever I wanted to do in terms of being creative when I was a child. I've spoken before about if I wanted to be a cat for the weekend, I could just be a cat, and that was cool. Or my mum would teach me how to colour in a different way. So say, for example, instead of using a block colour with a crayon, she would say, if you've drawn an alligator, take a crayon and put it on its side and find a texture within the house that can make the scales. So it could be like a wicker basket, or it could be like a certain surface of a carpet, so you would rub and then, you know, get the imprints. And I think it's just using your brain in a different way to create textures. Glass and Patron, for me, is about using the experiences that you go through in your life, and using pain and using your emotional discomfort and putting it back into your creativity. I give birth to a fabric which is made to look like a colourful fluid, and I give birth in the back of a van. And for me, the idea came from looking at a lot of young girls now, like in modern society, and seeing like what makes girls feel beautiful and what do men seem to find attractive. And you know, obviously you can have like a big boob, or like, you know, like a big boob, just a singular one. No, like you can have big boobs or like a big butt or big thighs. But for me, if I'm on the tube and I see a pregnant woman get on the tube, I'm always like, can't stop staring. Like I'm always like, that's so incredible, you know, to think that like women can grow something inside their bodies. And it's something that I think unless you are planning to have a baby or unless you are giving birth, it's not really spoken about that much. And especially maybe not in terms of a woman being sexy or being beautiful or feeling powerful or feeling empowered in what she can do with her body. It's more sort of maybe about like butt implants now and collagen implants and the way that you can dance and the way that you can move. So for me, instead of doing 1,000 squats and wearing a push-up bra, like I wanted to feel what it would like to feel sexy with a baby bump. It was the toughest shoot I've ever done, because I think for me, I was dancing in it and performing, and I was really obsessed with how everyone had to look and what they were wearing. And the majority of the dancers I knew personally, and they're good friends of mine, and others like Javier Ninja and Alex Muglar, I've been looking on YouTube at for a while. And so I really wanted the dancers to feel like themselves and dress like themselves and be themselves, which I think dance in music video and sometimes in pop culture, it can be twisted somehow, and you're not considered an athlete, but then you're not also like included in like the artist group as well. And I think that I really wanted to show how the dancers moved and have it about them as much as it was about me. There was a moment when it was midnight and it was freezing cold and everyone was just there like this, and like, because we were all basically naked. No one was moaning, like we were just laughing about it. And I thought, wow, like, you know, you really not only like believe in me, but believe in what you do, believe in it being portrayed in the right way. You don't often really get moments where you can stop and have these bigger thoughts than yourself or what you're doing. I think that on the whole, people really understand my work. I've come from a very underground place, and so people knew who I was, and to have that growth and that support from people who want me to do what I do and want me to express things a bit differently and be true to myself. Like, I feel like I have a lot of support, and with my profile growing, it enters into a world of people who don't understand me, and they're never going to understand me, and I don't expect them to understand me, and I don't want them to understand me. And that's also okay. And in a way, quite exciting as well, to have it spread into a place where it shouldn't really go, and yet it's there, and it feels nice. Like I quite enjoy it when people don't get it. I'd feel like if everyone did get it, I'm doing something wrong.